the noodle companies is trying to hit at what I think is the biggest impediment to the growth of EdTech businesses and to innovation in general in education, which is that the marketplaces are opaque and inefficient and just crappy. So if you, as a student or parent, are trying to find the right preschool or the right college or the right French tutor or coach, that's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an educator trying to find students who will best benefit from what you're doing, that's hard. If you're a university trying to put together the different pieces of technology that are out there into a coherent platform that allows for innovation, that's hard. I mean, each piece of this, the way school districts acquire curriculum materials is ridiculous. And so I'm just trying to hit at those by building a series of companies, trying to attract some really good people and capital into solving that problem.
Yeah. And your sense about how, particularly the investor community, some of the biggest hitters are here today, how has the attitude towards EdTech evolved, particularly over the last few years?
You know, from an investor point of view, certainly there's a lot more enthusiasm than there was really ever before. There was, in the U.S., well over $1 billion last year invested into EdTech. If you think about that in context, by the way, it's a $5 trillion global industry, education. The amount of R&D spent, the amount of real innovation is de minimis. So that $1 billion is a drop in the bucket.
And of that trillion, are there many private fortunes that have been made in education to date over the last few hundred years?
Not a ton. The public companies in education generally are terrible educators. So the for-profit colleges in the U.S. Have been very successful financially, much less successful educationally.
So given for hundreds of years, parents have had money to improve the lives and the studies of their children, why haven't many more people made billions out of education in general? Forget tech.
Well, education traditionally has been more local. And so there have been very large fortunes made, just not in the billions.
Okay, so what would an example be of a type of business, if not an individual?
So Princeton Review was a fairly large multinational company, but if you look at the tutoring space, for instance, in the States, it's $5 billion.
Yep.
And there are lots of regional companies between $2 and $10 million.
Right, so if we said no one's ever really made good money out of education, we'd actually be wrong there. So there are some good, whether it's publishing, tutoring.
Yeah, plenty good.
Yes,
and,
good.
And I think the inflection point in education is really right now, and you're seeing a lot of drivers of that. Number one, the rising cost of education globally, both K-12 and higher ed, has put a real pressure on people to find new solutions.